are Jesus. You are Jesus. You are Jesus. You are Jesus. You are saved. Exalted you are.
You are Jesus.
Yes, you are.
Jesus.
King of all creation.
Jesus.
The Prince of Peace, the Lord of Lords. You are worthy. You are. You are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy, Lord. We give you all the honor. All belongs to you. You are worthy.
You are worthy.
Now this part is simple.
You are worthy.
It goes something like this. Jesus, you are worthy. Now and ever. Now and ever, we declare you worthy. Now and ever, now and ever. Help me say,
Jesus, you are worthy. Now and ever.
now are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy. Hallelujah. Somebody give the Lord praise.
Just lift your hands and worship God. We love you, Lord. We need you, Lord. You are a faithful Father. No one else like you. We're here to love you. We're here to worship you. We're here to love you. We're here to adore you, Lord. There's no one like you. There's no one like you. Faithful Father, no one else like you. We praise you. El Shaddai, sovereign Lord, from age to age, you remain the same. Adonai, we praise you. Adonai, we praise El Shaddai, our sovereign Lord. From age to age, you remain the same. Adonai, we praise you. Can you sing along with me? From age to age, you remain the same.
Yes, good evening and welcome to another edition of Chat with Daniel Dadson. That was a Rama Coda with Adonai, an acoustic version. And let me say a very big thank you to the husband, Mr. Kofi Usudia Anto, and to Reverend Joe Beecham for that footage. That was actually at Reverend Joe Beecham's 20th marriage anniversary celebration, which was held, I think, last week or so ago. Beautiful rendition there of that amazing worship song that was released a couple of years ago. Earlier on, you heard or you watched the video of myself, Revelation 5 and 10. It's a song that was done a couple of years ago. Well, I'm so excited. I'm grateful to you for your time. Another Sunday evening, and like we do it every Sunday evening for some weeks now, we come to you with thought-provoking, exciting, and very, very relevant conversation, inspiring one, of course. And I know that today is no exception. And today I'm very, very glad because I get to speak to some very learned people and some men who have been there, they've seen it, been there, done it, and they are still doing it, blazed a couple of trails and are still paving the way for emerging artists, gospel artists, of course, within Ghana and across other parts of the world to make something good for the gospel. So I will be talking to the table of men, like you have heard. I'm sure you are asking yourself, who are these men who call themselves the table of men? Well, you get to experience them this evening. You get to ask them whatever questions you want to ask. I call this one the Table of Men edition. So if you've heard any myths surrounding their name and who they are, and you think there are some mysterious guys who are here to do something, I don't know, mysterious, you get to find out tonight. But I'm more interested in the revolution that is being caused, if I should put it that way, within the music industry as far as Ghana is concerned, and putting the gospel and gospel musicians on the roadmap, or on the map, I should say, on the map when it comes to visibility and a couple more other things. So we get to find out a lot more and possibly bust some myths. If you've heard any myths, we're going to be busting those myths tonight. So let me welcome, joining me, the Mr. Ninoy. Well, we'll sort out some technical bit there. Let me go to Kofi. Oh, well, let me get the name right. Kumsin. Okay, let me stay with Kumsin so that I don't make any mistakes. I'll get the name right when it comes on. Hello, Kumsin. Hi, Ni.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. I'm still trying to get.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect.
Good.
I was having some studio feedbacks. I hope it's fine.
Yes. I think it was because we were with the sound on your studio. But good to have you on. It's been a while. I had you on the chat.
No, welcome back.
Welcome back. I know you have been busy. I know you have been very busy. You know, doing a lot of things when it comes to the gospel music space. And before we go into what the Table of Men is doing and what
I think Kusi was on, or he's gone.
He is on. I think I'm not sure if he's busy. If I have him on camera, I'm going to bring him back on. But he is on, and
I think he can't join on camera, so he can join on audio.
Okay, let's. Okay, right. Okay, let's see. Kumsin, do we have you? Hello, Kumsin. Okay, all right. Okay, he's on there, so I'm hoping that we'll get to hear his voice shortly. But I wanted to ask that before we get into tonight's conversation, let's talk a bit about. I know you're doing some great work for Akesi Brimpon, so tell us what is new quickly before we get into. You can't come on the chat without talking about Akesi Brimpon. That is for sure.
Okay, the brand is growing, and we are happy for what God is doing with the brand. On Friday, 15th, we're releasing a new song that he's featuring. He featured emoji music, and the song title is Yahweh, Songs of Moses. It's a worship song. It's a song that I believe that the world will love. A different dimension of Akese, that dimension of Akese that I personally love than the reggae and the Afro pop that you guys see out there. I personally love this side of it, and I'm excited about it. And we're praying that the world will receive it well. We pray that it will be a great worship song that will enter the nations. So we are looking forward to Friday for the release of Yahweh, Songs of Moses by Akese Paul.
Right, that's great. So I'm sure that is an exclusive on the show this evening. So make sure when the song comes out, like we normally do it, let's go out there, let's download, let's stream, and let it be a blessing. Now, Table of Men. We have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm hoping that we'll have the chairman and maybe one or two other team members. But let's start.
Yeah, I'm here for you.
Yeah, Table of Men. Who are the men on that table, and what is it that you guys do?
Very, 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 very young men that have decided that they'll devote their time for kingdom work. They'll devote their time to make sure the gospel, the gospel of Jesus Christ goes far, and that's what basically we are doing, and we are doing it in diverse ways. We kind of ask ourselves questions in our closets, and where we are having informal conversations, but this time we didn't want to limit it to those questions. Okay. We wanted it to be actions more than questions. So that's why we came together. And some years back, myself, Funky Five, Obi, all of us were pushing with our platforms, especially when, I don't know whether I remember 2 years ago when we started Anna, a gospel artist, a gospel veteran at the VGMAs. And Funky started the hashtag, and I held it on my show. I brought some of the VGM people to ask them why 20 years they've not honored any gospel person. And we pushed the agenda. Went on Obi show, went on several platforms. It became a major discussion point. And by God's grace, that night they honored 2 gospel artists, Mary Gansa and Reverend Abraham. Is that Apostle Abraham? Yeah, I mean, there are 2 people. Yeah. Abraham. Is it Kofi? Yeah. Kofi Abraham, Professor Kofi Abraham. Perfect. And so we thought to ourselves that actually this thing could go somewhere if we come together and we start pushing agendas. We come together and put positive agendas for the gospel, and that is what we came together to. We are together to do now. So it's a collection of some young artist managers or promoters, gospel promoters. We love to call ourselves gospel promoters who are seeking the best for gospel artists. We ask ourselves very interesting questions on why, Stonebwoy can release a song in 24 hours and get 1 million streams. But, you can get same for maybe a Joe Mental, a Dinah, and Edwin Dadson, or any other person. So we ask ourselves these questions, and we seek to look for solution for our gospel artists. So you're not in for any gospel artist, you are in for the system. You are in to make everybody understand the system. So if you want to connect to the system, that's fine. So that's what we are doing.
Let's see quick. I'm not too sure. Let's see.
Okay, I didn't get that.
Okay, I was saying we seem to be having a bit of a feedback. Let's see. No, it's all sorted now. It's all sorted now. But the name seems scary, if you hear yeah, the name can really be scary, like Table of Men, because most of the time we are used to anything gospel having something kingdom attached to it. You would have heard kingdom men or something. But table of men here, that's like, okay, Charlie, what are these guys? But I really love what you've said. You are in for the system, and these are very legitimate questions. You ask yourself, why is it that when it comes to the gospel musicians in Ghana, we haven't achieved that level of success? We don't have that overflow of reach like any other gospel artist on the African continent, and especially from other countries that I really don't want to start mentioning. So you ask yourself that. So I'm glad that we are on here to have this discussion. Let me see if Kumsin. Hello, Kumsin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Glad to have you. How are you doing, my brother?
Fine, thank you. Great to be on as well.
Awesome. I'm honored that we're having you on the chat for the very, very, very first time. And let me make it an even field. I asked Ninoy about Akese Brimpon, so I think it's just fair that I ask about Joe Metal. What's up in the camp? I know that he has just released something with Bethel Choir. What's apart from that, is there anything in the offing for fans to be aware about?
Yes. So Joe recorded his next album a while back, and I must confess, amazing collection of beautiful songs with great people, great features, great content, and by God's grace, the next couple of months, his new album will be out, and I'm sure will be a blessing to people all over the world. So that's just the main thing that's happening. We are hoping that the restrictions we will see some light at the end of the tunnel with regards to the COVID challenges. Once we do, we would have announcements on our events as well. But as it stands now, it's his album it's upcoming in the next couple of months.
Awesome. That's good to know, and great to hear that. Now let's delve straight into the conversation. Let's start from the Ghana gospel music industry, as it were. Gentlemen, do you think that where we are now is something that we can be proud of as a country? I don't know. Nino, you want to go first, or Kumsin will take this one?
Kumsi wants to take it first.
I mean, I think we have come far, but there's so much more distance to be covered. There are a lot of things that we were not exposed to, or a lot of things that we were not doing in the past. I always say that what we do within the gospel space, just like any other space, we are unique because there's a calling aspect of what we do. However, what we do is about people, and once it's about people, the same measure of hard work, measure of skill, the same measure of input that's required with other genres of music is required of gospel artists as well. I mean, back in the day, we wouldn't be having conversations like this even regarding how to push gospel music and all that. But I mean, now we are finding common ground regarding the gaps that exist that we have not paid attention to with respect to artist development, with respect to management, with respect to developing our skills as people within the industry, etc. So, I mean, if you ask me, it's we are not there yet, nowhere near there, but we have come far.
That's good to know. There has been a lot of activity and a lot of, I should say, engagement, visibility in the past few years. Nino, is there anything specifically that is accounting for that? For the past 3 or so years, there has been a lot of talk gospel musician here, gospel musician there, both positive and negative. But I should say the positives far outweigh the negatives. Every now and then you have one controversial news breaking, and
we don't like the controversial ones. So. Hello, Daddy, are you there? Hello, Daniel.
Hear me?
Your line is breaking.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Yes, I was asking if we were doing anything different from what has been happening in the past.
Okay.
So, what is happening now?
The thing is that some 10 years ago or more, let me say 15 years ago, the likes of Danny Neti, Neokai, over 15 years ago, that Neti Neokai started some contemporary gospel music, this kind of gospel music. We were copying from the West. And we thought it was something that, we were in universities and it was very youthful. And so when we were doing it, in schools, universities, when we were doing intellectuals and stuff, you could see people were jamming onto it. So there was a generation that was loving that kind of music, that contemporary gospel music. So it came with this artist, and that artist brought a whole move. And I remember some years back on the Christian Entertainment TV show on Sunday FM, where people like my own chairman said, "Oh, this thing will not die off." But the movement kept on, and God bless people like Danny Nete, who mentored this kind of people. Because Kuzi was part of that generation. I'll keep saying it till it goes back to his music career. Right?
I hear you used to be a backing vocalist. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, he's the backing vocalist. so that generation, when Danny was mentoring them and Fifi was singing greetings to him, he did so amazingly well, brought them together to do the next generation gospel ministers, and they started singing everywhere. They mounted stages, and from there something started, the movement started, the push started. Everyone held on to this push. People didn't give us a chance. People were saying contemporary gospel, it won't hold. I remember articles written by a lot of people that's contemporary gospel. But I respect to people like Joe, Akese, Emoji, Neokai, all of them holding the fort, and they were saying, like, they kept pushing. And that wave now has affected the whole gospel space. And now our songs are not only appreciated, our gospel songs are not only appreciated in Ghana, they're appreciated worldwide. Now everybody knows about Ghanaian gospel songs. And I think that move was a very important move that happened like some 10, 12 years ago with the new breed. I don't know if right now you see how you feed them all, but me, I still call them that breed that brought the serious move into the industry. It really started. The Danis and the new kinds, they are like mentors. So that new movement really started with Chris Yotin. And I remember that conference center album launch. I told myself, Charlie, this thing is a whole different thing. It's taking it to a different level. And that was a positive kickoff. That was a positive start to the new move. And after that, you could see contemporary gospel. Now they don't even call it contemporary gospel. Now they call it gospel music. That's why I keep advising my urban guys that let's redefine it and call it gospel music, and look for how we will fit into that space and take over the movement and the move. But this is how we've come. And to me, I think that it's brought a lot of enlightenment. It's brought a lot of clouds. It's brought a lot of mileage to our gospel space, that now people outside Ghana listen to our gospel music, because those times it was more high life gospel. There's just one, two that you see some dancehall reggae by some of them, but mostly it was high life gospel. But now the contemporary, because of the contemporary stuff, the people out there, that's what we're doing already. So it's not a year this year. So I think that because of that, it gave us some mileage.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. Nee has vividly described the new school, how it kicked off and everything. But if you go a little bit back into the late 80s, 90s, you will have what maybe would define as local gospel. And that's used to be very, very that used to be so strong that it gave a lot of the gospel musicians at that time some form of reward financially. I mean, you would hear that, oh, this artist has been signed by this producer. He or she has been taken to the studio, album release, and before you could say, Jack, the album is all over Ghana. You see the artist's life transformed and all those things. I'm not sure if we can say same for the current trend of gospel musicians that we have, but let's look at that time. And what do you think was what do you think was different? What do you think that we haven't been able to properly assimilate or properly merge from that era into the new school?
I think that the dynamics have changed over the years. In the 80s, early 90s, like you're describing, these were times where an executive producer recognizes a talent, or a talent chases an executive producer, however the relationship begins. The executive producer or the producer takes on the project. There were not many radio stations like we have now.
Yeah.
The executive producer is responsible for making sure, together with the team, that everybody in Ghana hears the song. I was on a similar platform where Kwesi Ernest was giving. He has practical experience of how these things started. That you have one task as an artist manager at the time. The song needs to be heard by everybody in Ghana. So even if it meant that it's Daniel Dadson's song that is on now, Ninoy has released, we need to ensure that all these few radio stations that are existent are playing only Ninoy songs. So it's so funny that these songs that were released in those times, I can sing Obatampe Waye, and I even know where every instrument is played, every placement, voice change is made. Like you know every bit of it, because there were very few stations. You didn't have an option, but you would hear it, and you wouldn't hear it once. You hear it over and over again. Now there are so many stations. You have to do way more. So many stations. The existence of executive producers are not there anymore. That system is not there anymore. The introduction of social media, the internet in general. So now people have a wider scope in terms of what to choose to listen to, and the choice to make. There's so much to choose from. So then the point is, as an artist, a record label, etc., what is your value proposition? What is making you different from everybody that would give you that kind of visibility and that kind of mileage that you're looking for? People have so many choices that they can make currently, compared to what we used to have in the past. So I think that's what has brought that kind of a change. The introduction of so many radio stations, the introduction of the internet, social media, and the differentiation with respect to people's ability to choose from a wide variety of artists.
Your mention of media brings me to this point that I want us to look at quickly, and that is the role that the media in Ghana and those who are into gospel music broadcast primarily, like i.e. DJs, presenters, like anybody who pretty much plays gospel on their show. What should be done to make sure that this particular movement that we are seeing is sustainable, and what role should the media play? I want to link that to the next question, which I would ask, and I've been asking that, is there a need to ring fence our media space from foreign content, i.e., foreign, gospel? Is there a need to do that? Because I know that not just gospel, I mean, music in generally, a country like Nigeria has done that, and there are a couple more countries that purposefully and intentionally does what will make sure that their local industry thrive. So let me start from you. The media, the role. What is it that we should be doing to make sure this move is sustainable and it doesn't see, or it's not suffocated at a point?
I love that. I love that question. And when the proliferation of the media started, interestingly, around that time, we had a boom in the gospel space. Around that time, we had Esther Smith, Cindy Thompson, a lot of them. Like I'm trying. I'll mention other names when I remember. I remember Cindy Thompson, and those were the times that when they started drive time at 3, they'll give you at least 1 hour of gospel music. Most of the times, it was even 2 hours of gospel music before we even go to the hip life. That time, to hip life was competing strongly, and it was gospel music was defining the space. And when you look at 10 years ago, that 15 years ago that I'm giving you, and you're going to look at the awards, the BGMAs, you see the gospel music were picking some very, very, very critical awards. I remember one of the 9 Daughters of Glory Jesus picked like 7 to 8 awards. Those were the times that when the proliferation of the media, when it was high, we had, like what she said, we had people, executive producers who were investing in this space. So these executive producers could go see these presenters, pay, see the DJs, pay, and that demon Payola, which if my chairman was here, would have spoken about it. That's where that demon Payola really started. And I'll go to the big bands and all of them. It was interesting because it was CD sales, so you had to make Ghana hear about it, because it was linked to business. It was business, so they were pushing it to make it. So those times, gospel music was big. But unfortunately, when CDs and all that went down, we see a sharp decline in that. And that sharp decline is what is now worrying us as an industry. Because that sharp decline, because right now in the space, I don't know, Kumsi will tell you, there are no executive producers. Especially with that movement that I told you, the movement from Joe, Pastor Edwin, all of them coming down. That movement, they didn't have executive producers. They were doing things on their own. They were seeing people in church who genuinely love gospel, and they will donate and help you, to do it. But we didn't have the John Mensah, the Kwesi, and the Big Ben investing. So the Payola thing was difficult for them because that money they're investing, you had to use to produce, you had to use to reprint CDs, you had to use to do videos, you had to use to prepare the product to the market. So the marketing bit was very difficult. You understand? However, now that we've settled with that, now we know that digital is the thing. Now we need to redirect our energies back to this. Because now we have over 400 radio stations in Ghana. We need to redirect, because whilst we were going through that phase, the secular guys didn't sleep. They took over. So now when they start the drive time shows, they just start one gospel song. There they go. That was unfortunately they were also taking over the stage. So now you have to go and reclaim what was for us. It's not like what is due us, but it was what was for us. So in claiming that, we can now get that sufficient airtime. We are not asking for give us all the TR. We are asking that in true negotiation. But most of the times we need to go see station managers and all of that. That's the most difficult part, because every station has policies. There are Christian stations in Ghana that are 70% foreign content, so it's very difficult. So unless we try and push these policies, talk to the creative agency and the ministry so that the broadcasting bill can be looked at quickly. So when they look at quickly, we can look at all these foreign content stuff, and we can appropriate them quickly. I hear 60-40 that they are putting, and that bill has kept so long in being passed. So if we could look at that, then that will make our work easier. However, since that is not out now, it's like I'm saying, we just need to go to station owners and plead and give them reason why local content is important to be played than our foreign content. And another point is that some stations even don't have a policy, but the DJs are the important thing we need to look at. So it's a dicey situation. So the proliferation initially is helped us. We still have some more to do because we've lost some part of what we're doing, and we still have some time to catch up, to pick up.
That's a good historical background and how we've come to the point where we are. But I'm going to really muddy the space now. Now, Kumsin, I'm going to ask you a direct question. I know me has, diplomatically gone around it and spoken about policies and all that kind of thing. I wish we would have Frankie Five on later. I know, he's gone in for the is it the chairman or the president of the Creative Arts Council? If he comes on, maybe the executive secretary, right? But Kwesi, should we ring fence our media space, a media and event, I should say? Should we do that? Now, permit me to make this argument. I have followed gospel music for a long time. I mean, I started off as a sales executive in Capital Radio in 1997. I've been in this space. I went into broadcasting at the university in the year 2000, and I've been doing it up to now. From Radio Valco, I've worked in a couple of radio. I've stayed with gospel music. I've seen events, and I've followed what happened from the times of the American gospel coming into Ghana. And now it is mainly Nigerian gospel that we hear a lot in our space. But I look at the opposite. I look at other countries and I look at their consumption of Ghanaian gospel content. I mean, very good Ghanaian gospel content. We've had artists who have done amazing songs, and these songs can be comparable to any world-class gospel music. Every now and then we will have a spark. Maybe we will have a Baba from Sony traveling and being sung in some American churches or somewhere in other African churches. Every now and then we will have maybe a song by Kofi Kakari that would go, but we don't have that en masse reach like it's been experienced or it is being imported into our space. And I don't see our artists getting on huge events in maybe Nigeria. I mean, there's been one or two South African ones, and even that one, it would have to be maybe some Ghanaian executive producers. I know that Halal Africa is in the States. They are Ghanaian. They would take some Ghanaian artists to South Africa to produce music. So let me land by asking, should we ring fence our media space? Is there a need to intentionally do things that would make Ghanaians appreciate Ghanaian music, Ghanaian gospel music, Ghanaian gospel artists, have a proper feel and full of them before we even open the space up? What do you say, Kumsin?
Daniel, I'm sure if I was asking you this question, I know what your answer would be. And guess what? Your answer is same as mine. You go into various sectors across Ghana. You go into the agri sector where you require maybe a certification to do some job, and you are expected to have a bank account with a local bank just to show up the participation of local banks within the space, and that helps the banking sector. You go into probably the energy sector, and currently government is pushing for 15% local content conversation. That is to show up Ghanaian local businesses who are in the energy space as well. You go into various sectors, and there are laws and regulations that protect Ghanaian interests, not for just for the now, but for the future as well. So why don't we have something like that for the music industry? Because it is a sector that involves Ghanaian entrepreneurs and Ghanaian business people. So yes, definitely, I think that if we would go far with this whole conversation, not necessarily just for gospel music, but for Ghana music, yes,
Absolutely.
there needs to be some protection for Ghanaian musicians, Ghanaian investors within this space. It's unfortunate that these for me are the two major challenges. The fact that there is no protection, and like you put it, a ring fence for artists and people who invest in this space. That's one. And two, the opposite of what Nino was saying, that we need to sit with station managers, we need to talk to them, we need to tell them how important it is for playing our songs, etc. Unfortunately, in areas where music has developed and artists are getting what is due them from the space, you don't sit with, yes, you tell them what is important with respect to what they should play, but no, before they even get registered, you have collection societies that are taking the monies for artists, that are giving artists what they are due because the song is played. Now it's sad, we are begging for the song to be played elsewhere. When the song is played, you make money from it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
artists are investing so much. It costs not less than 3,000 CDs to produce a song. It costs over 20,000 to promote one song. It costs so much without you knowing, having an end in sight with respect to return on investment. But it's money that is going in, so survival becomes very difficult then. So if there's no protection for artists, then there's no future. That's my opinion.
Wow. Good Monday. And at this point, I think it's a good point. Obi has joined at a very good point. Obi Nate, welcome. Hello, Obi. Can you hear us?
That guy is at Ashama. Yeah,
Okay. Let's see if we get a stable network. Hello, Obi. Well,
Yeah, I can hear you, but the line keeps.
the line is breaking up. Hmm. Okay. Let's see if we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Obi. Thanks for joining the conversation this evening.
Thank you, Danny. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I mean, you've come in at a point that I think that you should really. I really want to hear what your thoughts are, and I'm sure that you may have seen one or two um, posts from me on this subject of the need to protect the space, the Ghanaian gospel or the Ghanaian music space, which includes gospel music. What are your thoughts about it? And not just the media alone. I think that our artists and our event organizers should be intentional with that. I don't know if there can be any policy that guides them or that actually pushes them to do so. What are your thoughts in that regard?
Well, thank you very much, Danny. Sorry, I have a lot of people around, but quickly, I think that, like we've all been saying, the only way out to save our industry is to get policies in place. Unfortunately for our music industry, the systems are not working. The systems that are meant to protect musicians are not working. From the GAMRO to copyright to musical, I think they have failed woefully in protecting the artists. We shouldn't be where we are by now if these structures are working efficiently. Now, for us who are now picking up the pieces and are trying to help, I think we will just have to push for policies that will enable the artists
When I mean the artists, I mean the artists and the management and what have you to function very well. There's little we can do with maybe conversations and then talks. It would depend on the structures of these offices that can put certain measures or laws in place for us. A clear example is wait, you can't do this. A clear example is the percentage of foreign songs we play, or let's say Nigerian content, because that's the biggest competition we have here in Ghana.
Yeah.
That we can regulate the percentage of Nigerian songs we play on our airwaves or on our televisions. Now, obviously, people talk about preference, production, quality, artists, attraction, and all that. If we look at all those things and get into those conversations, I think the Ghanaian music will not get anywhere because we have less investment. We don't have that strong financial backing for our industry here. We can't compare our numbers to the Nigerian numbers. If we go into a very argumentative conversation, I think the odds will not favor us at all. So it will be important that we allow the policymakers to initiate certain good policies that will regulate the system to make sure that we play more of our songs, promote more of our artists, and also once we do that, then we can trust the investment level that, okay, now that we are playing more of our songs, I can go into a particular artist, invest into the artist because I know that the system will favor the playing of the artists. The system will favor the patronizing of my artists. You understand me? That is how we can get
Oh dear, we seem to be losing Obi.
Into the system. Otherwise, if I have money and I know that putting my money, so many Nigerian songs that overshadow him. You understand my point?
Yes.
So I'm saying that the event organizers, there should be something that regulates them. The same way I ask myself, how many Ghanaians have won awards in Nigeria before? And how consistent is that? But compare that to Ghana. Every award scheme has honored a Nigerian artist to the extent that we have a category that you have only Nigerian artists who are labeled in there. Labeled in them. If it is 8, we have 8 of them in there. How do we help our market with this? Can you get the same thing in probably Nigeria? That you get to a certain category and you have about even 4 Ghanaian artists there? No. Even if there are no policies, they have deliberately decided not to do that to save their music industry. But we have not done that. We have left our market open and everybody is trading. And because they have the financial power, they come and they trade well. They understand the industry better because most of them are now acquiring lots of knowledge in what they're doing. And so they're able to beat us to our game. So the only way out of this one is to get the laws working for us. Get the system working for us. I keep saying, Gamro for me is a waste. My brother, I don't know, but I just need musical. Another waste. Another waste. Another waste. Copyright there. Oh, crap, we don't have to talk about it. And all the systems are meant to help the artists. You see, and forgive me to just bring in this. When they say we should fix the country, systems are managed by human beings. If the human beings are not well oriented, how can we fix the country? If we put the systems in place, which people are going to sit behind the system to run it? The same human beings who have not oriented themselves very well. So for me, it is a matter of getting back to the drawing board and restructuring all the systems back again. Because the executive producers they don't have confidence in the system again, and that is why we don't more have executive producers. Artists are now producing themselves. So and they are producing themselves and they are producing whack. Excuse my language. Some of them are producing nonsense. You listen to the song, and you know that this song will not even go beyond my washroom or my kitchen. You get my point, because nobody is investing to determine what they bring out, and you expect me to take this one and leave probably a foreign material which is better. I won't do that. So when we're able to regulate with the laws and we are consuming that product that is from Ghana, then we will have people who are confident saying, even if it is, excuse my language, trash, I'll invest because I know that there is a policy that will make them play it.
Mm.
And when they are playing it, obviously the revenues that come, you will get your share of it.
Mm. Now, Obi, thanks very much. You've gone to a tangent, and I want us to quickly dwell on that, and I'll come back to this issue and try and look at what we within the gospel space, i.e., the churches, the clergy, can do, the role they can play in this. But I chanced on a video. I follow Footprints on CTFM, and I realized that last week's episode had a Jaconimo, so I decided to watch it. And I have, by kind courtesy, and I credit this footage to CTTV. I want us to let's watch 2 minutes of something very important he said, and this happened in 1979. And I've been asking myself that if in 1979 this happened, then what went wrong? So let's watch this footage, just about 2 minutes of it, kind courtesy of CTTV.
1918, 1920, he was walking in Achima Peja one evening, and he heard somebody playing Yam Ponsa on guitar.
This word is a white man or a Ghanaian?
He's a historian.
Ghanaian?
British.
Okay, British, okay.
And for the British foreign workers, you had to write a paper. Mm-hmm. So he transcribed Yam Ponsa and wrote a paper on this. Now, when he learned that Dr. Amo had been given a sack at Ekropong, he immediately invited him to Achimota. Now, Dr. Amo, we are told, found that the Fanti Trio's lyrics didn't live up to Ghanaian decency practice. So he wrote new words for it. So Yam Ponsa fell into the public domain. Okay. When I was president of Musica, between 1990,
79, 80.
Yeah. Paul Simons, an American musician, wrote to the Ghana government for permission to use Yam Ponsa. We referred it to our attorneys. Nana Lawyer Prempe, Amagache, Odoyanim, and what have you, and permissions were granted to him. He recorded it, and I think I can say without fear of contradiction that the first royalty he paid was about $38,000 for that track alone.
Mm. And that's Spirit Voices.
Yes.
Spirit Voices,
yeah,
that track, yeah.
The government instituted Folklore Board with Dr. Amo as the chairman. Due to ill health, Dr. Amo retired and recommended me to be a chairman. So I was interim chairman for them. So this is an interesting story.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, the history of Yam Ponsa can last us a whole day.
So,
right. So, okay. Thank you, gentlemen. I hope you got that. In 1979, so Paul Simons negotiated with the government of Ghana for copyright, for the permission to use Yamponsa, which at that time, if you watch the whole video is available on YouTube, at that time was a public domain song. And like Jack Onimo said, that he can say without contradiction that Paul Simon paid £38,000 to the government as royalties, 1979. And out of that, the folklore board was established. And that was just the first. So I asked myself that if that happened in 1979,
what is happening now?
Yes, right. If that happened in 19, so it even means that as long, because that song is still in existence, so it means that these copyrights have been paid from that time, and it also meant that the government at that time had been exposed to the possibility of a structure that will help the Ghanaian musicians. So what happened? I'm just asking myself, so what happened? Why was it that it wasn't the bedrock for these structures to be developed? You mentioned in your submission Honda, Gamro, and all these systems that have been established, and it looks like we are not getting anything out of it. And as a result, musicians in general are struggling, and much more gospel musicians. So, gentlemen, I don't know. Let me ask, what do you think went wrong from that time? Why is it that our predecessors, couldn't take a cue from what was happening at that time, learn what was happening in other countries, and institute it? What could have gone wrong? Nee, you want to start, and then I'll come to Obi.
I think that I watched the video, and I think it's an interesting thing. After the video, I'll be trying to do some research on what happened actually. But I think that then it means that the government then really, because according to Eja, it means that when they got the letter, they sent it to the Attorney General and all of that, so that they could advise. And after the advice some years back, the royalties came. So it means that the government of the day understood the royalty system, it understood the royalty structure and all of that. But for as to whether they are still paying, that one is going to be a difficult question to answer. But all I can say is that with this as something we have now, we can now go to the government and tell them if this is fixed well, or whoever handled it. First of all, the Gamro system we are running in Ghana, I keep saying, the leaders, not current, I think the successive leaders, we have issues. I think that we need to look at putting more professionals there. I understand when they say musicians, right owners should to take care of their affairs. But my brother, they are right owners, they are creative minds. I keep saying, people have gone to school to learn. Minds. Thank you. People have gone to school to learn accounting. People have gone to school to learn banking. People have gone to school to learn financial analytics, and all of these. Put them there and sit somewhere. Just expect that they give you the results. Just like when you were doing, just like when you are doing music, you got professionals. So I think that we need to make them understand, because from the first one, what was the name? The first one they bashed somebody. I forgot this name. I had this name. Carlos Sechi to Kodo entry. Then now Resoma, they are bashing everybody. And when you look, the situation is the same. Because especially when your artist has a hit in the prime and they are sending you 500 CD for the whole year as royalties, then what do you say to yourself? So I'm saying that they keep saying we need the monitoring something. They've been saying that thing for about 10 years, like over 15 years. Let's get a log sheet. And I mean, they've been complaining for over 10 years and nobody's looking for a solution. Musicians, can you set aside? You've not learned management. You've not learned legal matters. You've not all of that. Set aside. Get professionals to handle. I keep saying this thing, but I mean, I just don't understand why we still allow them to handle these affairs.
Obi, you want to say something in that to this particular video?
Charlie, it's a serious issue, but let me take mine from this angle. Now look at the personality in that video. That's Ejakonimo.
Yeah.
And look at the quality of music he produces. One, it tells you that at that time they had a lot of value for quality.
Okay.
At that time, you can see the value that the music industry brought to the country, and so the government was interested in the affairs of the musicians. So you understand from the point that in successive years, I'm seeing from where I'm sitting, that we have allowed politics, party politics, to infiltrate into the systems. And that is what is affecting how the system runs. So today, Party A comes into power, and the systems, once they are governmental, they have this affiliation with the government, or is supposed to be done. They bring a certain person to take over. Then the next one, a certain person takes over. So they don't do the thing with interest of the people. They are doing the thing in the interest of the government.
Okay.
You understand me? Now,
Yes.
when these things happen, it is the artist who is losing out on them. If this office, like Nee said, is run and managed by professionals, by people who have gone to acquire knowledge in the music industry, but they have specific areas, they have strengthened their academic strength, or they have acquired a certain level of knowledge in certain specific areas. A clear example: accounting. How can musicians? Okay, I'm a musician, I'm an accountant. How can you merge the two you are doing? So let's get somebody who is an out-and-out accountant, put him there, give him a target, let him hit it. Get an administrator, put him there, give him a target, let him hit it. That example, myself, I'm studying PR. So if you put me in musical to run the communication office or to run the PR system, I understand music already. So whatever I'm going to add up to it, the music will affect what I'm going to put in there.
Right.
So get people who can sit in these offices and manage the systems for the artists to benefit. But I ask, they go there, a clear example, musical, they go there, and it is all they're thinking about is executives siphoning money, buying cars, buying properties, and it benefits a certain group of people, and the rest are suffering. Go to Gamro. The same thing is happening in Gamro. So every day, this person has taken some money from some place. It goes to court 1, 2, 3 times, pam. Then the person is left to go free. And the artists are suffering. People cannot access royalties. Meanwhile, we all shout, oh, they are doing well, oh, they are playing their songs, oh, they are doing this. Oh. So what is happening to the system? What is happening to the system?
That's a $1 million question. Let's bring it home. Let's bring it back to our territory. And Kwesi, I'm gonna ask you this one. I mean, still on the issue of what we can do to make sure that we benefit, we maximize and consolidate our space. Can the church do anything as far as this is concerned? As far as helping protect the space is concerned, fine. I mean, whilst we're waiting on government policy, gospel music is primarily consumed by the church. We use for praise and worship. If any song will be popular, if that song has to be sung in church, apart from the media playing the song, any song that you've seen taking over an entire country, that is made possible by people consuming or people enjoying that song in church. So I ask myself, is there anything that the church can do? Is there anything that our church leaders can do to help in this particular regard? Kumsi, let me start with you on this one. Hello, Kumsin. Okay, I don't think Kumsin. Obi, you want to take this one, and I'll go to Nee.
Okay, so with the church, with this church issue, I think that I think Kumsin is back. Okay.
Yeah, Kumsin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Yes. So I am saying that my answer would be a yes and a no. A yes because the church has an advocacy role, and that can only be what it is, advocacy. No, because I mean, with advocacy, that's where it all ends. But my angle with respect to the actors within the church circle are the artists themselves. I think that artists and stroke right owners, which includes most of us on this call, are not angry enough. We are not pushing enough, and it is based on a cultural setting. And I think that Pastor Edwin made a point about the role of culture within all of this, within the chat, and I totally agree with him. You know, I'm restraining myself so much not to cite examples, but we are in a circle where when everybody is protecting their environment, everybody is protecting their small territory, everybody doesn't want to talk to offend anybody, but these are the same people that these things affect the most. And you take, I dare say, you take an artist like Kusi Otin. Yes, he's made clear where his political leanings are, which is fine. However, he will speak truth to power. He will say it as it is, and our system doesn't like that. What the system would do, and this same church circle would do, is that, hey, Abranti, Bushen you, Abranti. You see, our system is so you're humble, so you're quiet, so you're, and then the training is true. So I think that the people who this affects the most are not upset.
Okay.
So that's what we do.
Well, I mean, you know what? I keep on saying this, that I think the Nigerians are very intentional. I've observed a lot of the big Nigerian churches. I mean, somebody should give me an example. Which of the big Nigerian churches has ever in the last 15 years invited any of our top Ghanaian gospel musicians into their church? You know, like, we are not talking about those who lobby to get on there. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those who lobby to get. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like maybe a Joe Metzel. I mean, Joe Metzel comes to London. Shout out to the pastor of Liberty Church here in UK, who invites Joe Metzel a lot. He comes to London. I know Joe Metzel is been to London on RCCG, that's the Redeemed Christian Church. Their big concert at their big event at the Excel. That's cool. But now I'm talking about mainland, maybe Nigeria, mainland, maybe Kenya, mainland, maybe Zambia, and which pastor has invited some of our top artists who is reigning at any particular time to come, like we normally do, or which event organizer has done that? You know, so yeah.
Danny, so like I'm saying, I think this issue is will go beyond the Ghanaian artists, because for quality and for song rich, I think every pastor has a right to invite whoever they want to invite to their church. You can't stop any pastor.
I understand. Now I'm just asking that, can we be intentional? Because I think the others are intentional.
Yes, so like I'm saying, that they are intentional because their pastors are involved in how they grow.
Okay.
There is an interest from their pastors in how they grow. Now take a clear look at most of the top-notch Nigerian artists. They have a very serious backing from their pastors. How many pastors are fully supporting, investing, and backing the Ghanaian artists? They don't have the interest of the Ghanaian artists. I won't lie about it. I'll be clear about it. I'll be spot on. They don't have the interest of Ghanaian artists. They don't have interest of even their own church members who grew up to become artists. But look at how constantly the Nigerian pastors keep pushing these artists. How did you get to know about Sinach? How did you get to know about Nathaniel Bassey? How did you get to know about Tim Godfrey? Mention them and you can link them to their pastors. Mention a Ghanaian artist here and try linking them to their churches or their pastors. Very difficult. And some of them very deliberately leave their churches. When they leave their churches, they become better people, or they make it rather. Because the pastors here in Ghana have made up their mind that if it's not about them, forget it. And we can't compare these two characters in argument, because the Nigerian pastors, see, Nigerians themselves are aggressive, they are domineering, they always want to win. When they have a space, they manipulate the space and make sure they leave their legacy there. But how many of us are like that? Look at a clear example, Pastor Edwin. A clear example, Akese Brempong. Look, name them. All of them are from churches. But what is the impact and the influence on their church, and even some of them on the influence of their pastors on them? You don't find it. You don't get it, Danny. But mention Sinach. Mention. You know that they are coming from a certain line. They are coming from a certain line where the pastors have interest in the artists. So if the pastors are investing, last time we were having a discussion, and we asked, if imagine Pastor Edwin brings up a song, and the whole ICGC worldwide decides to buy the song for $1. $1.
My brother will be a millionaire. It's overnight.
You see, and listen to the business idea. If ICGC has the power to do that, then it means that ICGC has the power, or has even the business mind, to even get some percentage of the money that will come to Pastor Edwin.
Absolutely.
So we are not losing. But no, they are not thinking about it. They are thinking about their books. They are thinking about their CDs. They are thinking about their children. They are thinking about their universities. They are thinking about their radio stations. They are thinking about their wives. All what they think about is themselves. And they have left the musicians in the church, and the musicians are now surviving on their own. And like me, I keep saying, our Ghanaian pastors are not serious about our artists. And that is why we have a lot of problem in our system. And we never call at the artists, if they will have some eye on them and can give them some guidance, I'm sure some of these nonsense we hear, excuse my language, in the music industry, gospel specifically, will be out of it. Will be out of it. Sinach is, look at the name she's making worldwide. How can you mention Sinach's name without mentioning Pastor Chris's name?
Absolutely.
If I mention Jomete's name, which pastor's name will you mention?
His manager is here. He will help us out.
But I'm asking, yes. So you see, it's difficult to align it with it. Yes.
Wow. Thanks to all.
Pastor Ninoy.
Pastor Ninoy.
Pastor Ninoy.
Pastor Ninoy. The church has a huge role. They have a huge role in supporting our music industry. But you see, you can't force them. But they have a huge responsibility to support our gospel industry. And when they begin to support us, that is when we'll be able to have the system reach. Because even if the other systems of the world are not working, the support that the church will be giving us will help us.
Absolutely. There should be an ecosystem. I agree with you on what you said. And I've said it time and time again that if the ecosystem within the church alone is enough to make sure that gospel musicians try make the needed revenue, generate the resources to thrive and affect the world. And if we will be able to do that, I'm very sure that some of the pastors will watch. And I normally have quite some pastors who would watch the chat quietly. They won't comment, they won't say anything. So please, pastors, this one we are begging you, consider us. Like they will say, consider our case. When you are planning for the books, buildings, and everything, consider the gospel musicians. Gentlemen, let's quickly move on. Let me acknowledge all who are tuning right about now on the Christian Avenue Radio and also on Class Radio in UK and on YouTube and Facebook. Let me see if I can pick just one or two comments, and gentlemen, we'll just bring it to a close. I know you are very busy, and I thank you for your time. Pastor Will Nana Danso, thanks for joining us. And then Clement Afra is also here. Pastor Edwin Dadson, you have been on and very, very engaging. That's not the particular message I want. Pastor Edwin Dadson I want us to look quickly at what he said. He's written quite a long. Let me see if I can quickly read that. It says Nigerians generally have a strong commercial force compared to Ghana. Ghanaians are culturally careful, whilst Nigerians don't mind. Obi, I think you've made that point. Nigerian artists and business stakeholders are talking about wild, impossible success. I don't know what that means. Wild, impossible success. Okay, so for Ghanaians, we are either okay with offensive, or we are either okay with unoffensive success or afraid too much of dreaming. Aside policy, there are cultural factors to consider, and these are substratum in most of areas of nation building. Pastor Edwin, thanks for your message. They're very loud and clear. I think that if we want to dwell on this issue, we would go on and on and on again. But I love the solutions that have been professed, and that's the main reason for a conversation like this.
It's also claiming the $1 per CD for all ITU. He's claiming that Pastor Edwin claimed that is very important. So I love the suggestion for the result that has been professed or that have been that's been said by you gentlemen. I'm hoping that we can get somewhere with that. Now let me quickly move on and talk about VGMA. I mean, we've had quite a number of nominations for gospel artists. There's been a song category, a lot of interesting things happening within that space. Now, prior to that, there was the 3 awards, and I've been watching all of your shows, and I see a lot of talk about how the gospel ministers, especially those within the contemporary state, the new school, are making inroads into these spaces. And would you say that has been one of the successes of the Table of Men? I'll say it's part of the things we are championing. The point is that when you get a nomination in the VGMAs or the Music Awards nationwide, over the 400 radio stations, they play your song because people will love to. They don't have discussions about it. So, for instance, like Gwendolyn, who is at on song category, people in the northern region will play a song, right? Who is this lady? We're gonna look for the song and play. It gives visibility to the artist. So we need not, cancel some of these schemes. It's very important to the development of the brand of every gospel artist. It's important that we push a lot of these names so that these names will get to be heard nationwide. It's so instrumental to the success of the table and the success of the gospel industry. And you understand that in 2017, when Joe won the Artist of the Year, it gave the contemporary gospel space some kind of mileage, because people started trying to say, okay, so who again is there? They started trying to look for people there. So we need a lot of these nominations. It's not all, because there are some 4 or 5 gospel artists who all can win, but the nomination in itself, and I've been saying it, Kumsin has been there, he's been there. He teaches us all how we can use these nominations to gain mileage for our brands, individual brands, and it's very instrumental. We push a lot of these people there, because I've sat on boards with Obi and Frankie, and trust me, some of the songs that our people churn out and some of the songs that the other people break, Charlie, we are doing far better. But the thing is that the other people who somehow have the majority on these boards, they've not heard some of our gospel music. So even when we play the gospel, they start asking ourselves, hey, now we're gospel, hey, now we're the band or buy. You understand? So it's instrumental that we make them understand the politics around the board. We need them push songs to some levels, and it's instrumental that we get a lot of nominations for them, so that the whole country can hear of our gospel artists.
So indeed, Obi. So indeed, there are politics around the board, is there?
You see, like I keep saying, Obi is here. Like I keep saying, we mention some names, and like I say, majority of the members there probably are not following our industry,
Okay.
or they are not following our industry like how we are following it, or they've not even heard of any artists. You know, I remember one of the members of the board told me that it was myself, Obi, and Frankie, who is now making him listen to gospel music. You understand? So majority of them are not following our industry. They don't know what's going on in our space. They don't know if Joe releases today, if CC Chu releases this thing on Wednesday, and funny how like, you know, but he's aware when Saturday is about releasing, you know, an album and all of that. So we need to make it visible to them. We need to make them, and it's a form of soul winning. You understand? So we need to sell these songs to them. So it's a scheme, like Kumsi would say, it's a scheme. So we need to make people understand the dynamics of the scheme. So also win some of these awards.
Okay. Obi and Kumsi, let me ask you quickly. For those who are like emerging, I should I call them that way. So for the emerging gospel musician, what are some of the baby steps that they should take to be able to sort of, as it were, benefit from schemes like maybe the VGMA, the visibility it brings, schemes like the 3 Music Awards and other credible award schemes that are there? What should these emerging artists do?
Well, for me, I think the most important thing is that they should engage people who can handle their craft very well. I've always said that ministry is for impact, industry is for success and awards. You can't run away from that. So it's a combination of the two. Every artist, you have to focus on getting the right songs for your team to assess, to find the best market, and then impact. That is the essence of the gospel. But there's another part which is called the industry, which includes the awards, the branding, the brand ambassadorial deals, and all that. Now, these things are handled by professionals, people who have knowledge of the craft. So, if a manager and you're an artist, you give me the right songs, or we do the right team up to bring up the best of songs. Now, the management or the manager uses his knowledge of the industry to provide this, so to call it, let's say, worldly awards. It is my duty as a manager to put my artists on that level to get these awards. And for me, I would always advise that anybody coming up should make sure you have a formidable team, a formidable management team who understands the industry, so that you focus on the ministry. Now, these people or that group or that individual will focus in the industry, and when you have successes on the industry, it has a way of influencing your ministry. A clear example is Joe Metal.
Right.
I'm sure many people did not know Joe Metal until he won the VGMA. You understand me? But it is because of the work of the team and the management and the kind of songs or the kind of thing, the product that he has brought up. The management will find their ways of putting the song in the market to attract all these people to come in. And like Nino said, it's a form of evangelism. Gwendolyn, nobody knew about Gwendolyn. All of a sudden, she's enjoying airplay. She's getting interviews. People want to go and find out who she is. So the management is doing well to get her product out there into the industry. We shouldn't forget that what we're doing as ministry must work in a certain system which is called the industry.
Okay.
So anybody who is doing ministry, give your works or provide your works to the people who understand the industry, so they can manage your things for you in the industry. That way, you'll be left off finding who to go and talk to, who to go and see, where the Misika, where the Misika, where and all this unnecessary conversation, you are cut off them. So my number one thing and my primus is that get the right people to manage your ministry as an up and coming artist. Get the right people who have influence, who know where to place your song. The last time I had an issue with Carl Clotty, and it was clear. He made a certain statement. Oh, he has been here. He has spoken to this and this. It is not everybody you speak to who can help you. This, like, it's a scheme. It's a scheme. If you understand what we say is a scheme, it's a scheme. So you need people who are in there, who have influence, who can place you on a certain level. Are you getting what I'm saying?
I get what you say, but Obi, just before you land on that, one of the key things that some of these artists, the new ones, have raised with regards to all that you've said is that sometimes if it involves maybe budgets that they don't have. I mean, I get the point that once you've spent money to produce songs and stuff, you have money for promotion and stuff, but it looks like sometimes the budget to push some of these things are too heavy for them to bear. What would be your response to that?
Danny, I've always said, for me, I can say boldly that there is no up and coming artist or even mainline artist who has been to my office or had a conversation with me and have given them a certain budget which is beyond them. Sometimes I know they don't even have artists, don't have money. They don't have it. So you can't even go into that conversation of bring this amount of money and let me do this for you. But what we're saying is that once you know that this is what you want to do, sometimes even in contract, you can go into contract with people who can also say, okay, now I'm picking you up. Not this. I'm going to support you. That anything that comes is going into the investment of what we have already given into you.
Okay. Okay.
So you don't necessarily need money to be put people, and then at the end of the day, you benefit the benefit. But you see, the problem is that most of them come into this thing with the mindset that they are coming to make it.
Okay.
And they know how to make it. But don't forget that you need people who are invested in the industry to hold your hand. Somebody held my hand. Somebody must hold your hand. So when you are coming, understand, they keep going with this conversation. They don't have the money. We know you don't have the money. And that's why sometimes we make ourselves available for you to come and talk. Do I do it? Okay, this amount of money, is it too much? I can't do it. I'll support you. I'll do this and this for you. Ask Kofi Kakai, ask Soul Winners, ask anybody who have come to me that did I ask them to pay any huge amount. I don't do that personally. I don't do it because I know the money, they don't have it.
Right. Thank you, Obi. Let's move on quickly and let's bring it to Kumsin. I don't know if you wanted to comment on this, but if you comment on it, and also let's quickly look at the implication for the Ghanaian gospel artists on Spotify and TuneCore entering into the African space, specifically to establish offices. What is the implication? I know, I think Boomplay and a couple of others music streaming platforms are now looking into Africa as a market. What are the implications for our gospel artists?
Okay, my response is linked both on the previous question that you asked and then this one that you have. Okay. So for emerging artists and for mainstream, for lack of a better artists as well, I think that the key thing from my experience would be content creation and content releases. I think that what I have observed is that you have a lot of people releasing without plans, and what has become the norm now is you release a single, you jump from one radio station to another radio station, from one TV station to another TV station, and sometimes people feel that is what brings the success. But from my experience, what brings the success, apart from staying true to your core, which is very key for me within the space that I work, is that you need to plan your releases. You need to create a certain expectation of people for you. So if your plan is to release a single every year and release an album every 1.5 years, every 2 years, you see, the more you do that, the more you create an expectation of content for you. People cite Joe Metals example a lot regarding VGME. But yes, the success was great. The visibility was great. But the point is, following that, Joe would go for an interview on maybe OB show or on Joy FM. They'll play his song for a minute or two, talk to him for another 20 or so, play his music for another minute or two. The show lasts 30 minutes or 1 hour. There are 24 hours in a day. Now, if he didn't have 4 albums released already, which is content, when he leaves, what will people play? So there's just that one song that will bring you that big break or that visibility. But after that song, what's next? So I think that people should be consistent with their releases and plan them. All the event videos that are on their pen drives, they should plan and put them on YouTube. You see, what we do, I always say, is about once you meet people's needs, you don't have to prove your worth. So it's important that people plan these releases. So back to TuneCore, Spotify.
Can I add a little?
No, please. Back to
I understand it's no. Let me go on. I understand it's no. Let me go on. Like he's saying, you see, this planning he's talking about is not within the powers of you, the artists. You understand? Right. It is the team that understands the market that can help plan. The management bit of it is very, very important. I've been saying this and I'll keep saying it, and any opportunity I get, I'll say it. It is very, very important that you understand the system and how the system works. You don't just go about bringing singles, today single, tomorrow single, the next day single, and you expect every people to jump on the single, and we'll play that single, and then the next time, what else are we playing? What conversation can we have about it? You understand what I'm saying? So it is important that we understand as artists that getting the right people to help you plan your career, your style, is very, very important.
Okay. All right. Kumsi, so back to you.
Kumsi, can I continue?
Yeah. So I think that the benefit artists will enjoy of these platforms getting into the African market is content-based. These are content-based platforms. These are platforms that thrive on the video content, the audio content that artists produce. So I think that artists should be very consistent with their content. And from my experience, it's difficult, but do what is unpopular as long as you are very convinced that you have peace of mind, peace of heart, and you believe it's what God has called you to do, even if it's not popular at the particular moment. I strongly believe in that, and I think that people should take advantage of that, and also look at the podcast space, looking at these platforms coming into Ghana. We are very big on the audio streaming, video streaming, but the podcast environment. So people should build on their speaking skills. People should build on their engagement skills. People should build on how well they sound when people want to hear them. As an artist, when you release a song, people hear it. When you release a song and people hear it, they want more. They want to hear you. That's why they want to hear you in an interview. So you need to. It's a whole, for me, strategy approach. But we always look at it from an interview approach, which it's not consistent and doesn't give much value. So build the brand value so that people would appreciate you the more. Yesterday, I'll say this lastly, I was listening to a show, and one of the panelists made a very valid point, and it was based on brand value and brand proposition. And he's saying, I mean, as an artist, people are aware of you. Let's assume that for all you do, 100 people are aware of you. So out of the 100 people, how many people will consider inviting you for a gig? That can come to about 80 people. How many people would actually hire you following the consideration stage? It could come to another 60 people. After they've invited you, how many people will stay loyal based on what you have come to deliver? Maybe another 20. But when you get to the point of people who would reconsider inviting you, and people who would stay with you, and people who will market you as individuals, then you know that you have another 20. So how do you go on that 20 to have that reconsideration point with 100 people, 200 people, 1,000 people? People want to engage people they feel have something they don't. So be consistent with your brand. For me, your personality is your brand. The music is your product. Pay attention to both.
The personality is your brand, the music is your product. Pay attention to both. Let me quickly just take this question from Pastor Edwin and see if we can touch on it briefly. And I'll ask the very last question. It says, Obi Ni Kumsin, and then shouldn't the question be also asked, is every radio presenter an artist, manager, or promoter? What are the qualifications or identity of a good manager? You want to take this one quickly?
I think
you represent an artist manager, so
unfortunately, that's the trend we see in Ghana. But I dare say that every presenter or radio presenter or TV presenter must not be an artist manager. I think the artist manager just go beyond. You know, you can be a publicist if you're a radio presenter or TV presenter, a publicist for the artist, but it goes beyond that. You see the artist as a product, like Kumsen is saying. You see it as you are selling a product, a banking product, or whatever product you are selling. Look at the brand around it. Plan like, plan like it's a commodity, and plan around that commodity. Because I dare say that not a lot of radio or TV presenters have this business background, marketing background. Most of them don't know segmentations. Most of them don't know the 5 Ps. You understand, and all of that. So it's good that you get a business-minded person to handle this thing. And I keep stressing on that. Someone who understands business, who's been in marketing for long, who's been in sales for long, who can pick your product and sell it to the world. He needs to understand everything about marketing, you understand, to sell your product well. The communication person, it's a whole team. That's why you have a road manager, a booking agent, a publicist. But the business manager, who most of the time is the head of management, who we call the manager, so understand business of a product very well to sell products. And that is where our focus should be. Radio presenters, TV presenters, unfortunately, a lot of them are heading artists, their management teams, because that's the first point of call. When they are done with a single, they go for promos. So when they go for promos and they see one artist manager, one radio presenter is close to them, then they start calling manager. Now, manager. Now, but unfortunately, we need to get minds who can think around it, you know. And I've had discussion with people who held Sarkodie from 2009, 2008, and these people are not radio presenters. These people are people that were working in banks. You understand? They're working in banks.
Yeah,
and they're branding around him for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, and now it's manifesting. You understand? So we need to make people understand that you need someone who understands marketing, who understands sales, who understands business to handle your management.
That's true. What you said. I know this woman. I think her name is Madam. Because she CQ Legal. She does a lot of work with secular artists, Africa One Media, and she's a legal person who runs an artist management firm and helps these people do all the things that you've mentioned. So this is so true. I'm gonna ask this final question. From all that I've gotten to know about the Table of Men today, the things that you do, the ideas that you said, I think I can safely conclude that the Table of Men is neither a cartel or a mafia group.
See, I keep saying that I'm looking for a definition of a cartel.
That is the word on the street. I
do you know a definition of a cartel?
maybe I have an idea, but I'm not. I've not clearly looked up the definition.
Cartel is simply a group of people.
For me, if it's a cartel, and from the definition I know, cartel is.
Yeah.
I would love to be part of this cartel. let me tell you.
Yeah.
So, if people watching, remember Joe had a concert 2017, I think, after the VGM. 2017 at the conference center. Yes, and one of the biggest highlights of that concert was a surprise performance by Yasapo, and it was such a big highlight of the concert because it had been a long time people heard from Yasapo, etc. And I mean, after the show, everybody was excited. The team has done well. The team has thought through it. It was good because the end product was good. Guess what? I was just there one day. Nino calls me and says, "Charlie, look who put your support for it." It was not his event. He just called me and the product was so good. Everybody was praising our team for it, but it was somebody's idea. You understand? And fast forward, at all of his events, I am there to support. At all of my events, he's there to support. At all of Obi's events. So it's a symbiotic relationship that we have shared over the years that we are trying to spread across for more people to benefit. If you kindly permit me on the question that Pastor Edwin was asking, is every promoter every manager supposed to be a presenter, etc.? My answer would be a big no. Ninoy made mention of having someone who understands branding, marketing, etc. You mentioned someone who is a legal person, etc. But I think those examples work perfectly within a system where the structures are well placed and everybody knows their role. Here in Ghana, when somebody wants an artist manager, there's a role an artist manager needs to play, which is mainly strategy, visibility, creating direction, making sure that the artist is visible and it's in the right place at the right time, playing the right gigs, etc.
Right.
But when somebody wants an artist manager, they want an executive producer, they want a producer, they want a road manager, they want a publicist, they want a mother, they want a father, they want an artist. I'll know the moment after they want an errand boy and they want a child. So you see, it makes it very difficult. And I mean, these are things that
I hope they don't want a romantic partner in all.
I hope so. I have not had that experience, but I hope so. So it makes the work of an artist manager very difficult because there are so many expectations. So even though the person has to be knowledgeable in all the various fields that you guys have mentioned, which I totally agree, I think that one of the key things that artists should consider is somebody who would understand them. Creative people are very difficult people.
Yeah.
Creative people are they can be caged. So that's what makes them relevant. That's what makes them creative. So it's important that people identify people who understand them as part of people who have various skills sets that can support them as well, especially within the Ghanaian context.
Wow. Obi, you want to say something? I mean, shortly, just in under a minute, so that we can wrap.
I think in a summary, not everybody on radio can be an artist manager. It takes a lot of quality. It takes a lot of research to get into some of these things where you need to know the system that you are coming into, and then you need to know even the artist, the kind of person you want to handle your stuff for you. So if the person is a radio presenter, you think the person is good to do it, why not? If the person is not a radio presenter and the person is good and has what it takes to put you in there for you to survive and make the impact you want to make, why not? It is not a definite conversation that it should be a radio presenter. No, I don't think it should be so. But you see, there is also an advantage with them because they have colleagues in almost all these traditional platforms that you want to promote your stuff.
Okay.
And so sometimes it even helps you. It helps you because trying to give your things to people or other stations to play for you, there is that relationship. I got this thing because I'm understanding a certain system where there is this kind of coordinator group, chairman group, and all that. Now, somebody will be successful in a certain political party if the person is emerging from a certain group or called the coordinators. Now, all these coordinators have influence on their delegates. So the group coordinator will support the coordinator. Now, the delegates of the other coordinators that form that coordinator group would also support him. So at the end of the day, you are at an advantage if you have all these people who have the qualities, not those who don't have it. It's an advantage when you have somebody in there who has the qualities to support you. I think it helps, but not every radio presenter automatically must be a promoter. And also, you need to look at track record. Pay attention to track records, achievements of the people, how the artists they have handled so far, where they put them. Check all these things before you even engage some of them.
Wow, gentlemen, thank you so much. I mean, it's been some good. Normally, I would have ended the show 30 minutes earlier, but we've traveled a bit more because the information coming needed to be put out there. Very, very grateful for your time. Let me take your last words and share with us or share with me if someone, especially. I have a heart for, especially those who are coming. I know all of you do. Those new gospel artists who are working hard, producing good content. I have a heart and a passion for them to realize their full potential and help me or speak to them. If somebody has to engage with you, somebody needs to walk this road. What should they do? What should be the steps? How can the table of men support them? Who should they contact? Let me start with you, and then I'll go to.
Like I said earlier on, we are not in for any artists. We are in for the system. We are in to get connects for the system. We are in to make Ghanaian gospel go global. However, up and coming artists, we have a, I don't know whether it's a new wave, but we realize there are a lot of up and coming artists now in the system, which to me is not bad. But I think that they still have to learn more, some of them, not only musically, communication wise, brand positioning, how to place your brand. They need to learn a lot of these things, and we are open anytime. I mean, my Facebook account, you can DM me. I'm open. Obinate's account, you can DM Obinate, Kwesi Kumsin. You can do same, and I'm sure all the three. I'm the one who responds late. All of them will respond late. I'm sure that you have to all respond late. All of them will respond early. But you can DM all of us, QCNS, any of us. You can DM us. We'll get back. We'll get back to you. We'll help you walk the road. But I beg you, Reverend Edward, they say that Kumsi is now the father and road manager. I beg you. we can't be your father. We can't be your road manager. We can't be everything. But we can provide and advise you to make you walk the music journey. And since it's your calling, you know where God has called you into. With our experience, we'll help you strategies and all of that. I want to quickly speak on the TuneCore and the Spotify. I think it's a great thing happening to our system. To me, I think that we are now getting to understand this digital plumbing very well. The reason being that our artists can now go to Spotify, which is now in Ghana, and sell exclusive rights, or TuneCore and sell exclusive rights and take some money. And before we even start talking about streaming amounts,
okay,
either they're not in Ghana, you understand? But with track records now they're in Ghana, we can wait for the next 1 year, so they'll see track record of, let's say, Joe Metal, and Joe can go there and say, okay, you see my track record for the past 1 year. Now I'm going to release an album. Give me like $50,000 or $100,000. And then after that, we can talk percentages. Take this percent after the streaming for this number of years. I'll take this percent after for this number of years. So it's an advantageous thing. Now we need to go to them with track records, especially Tunko, who is an alligator who can plug in more. We need to go there, to them because the foreign arts do that a lot. We need to go to them for track records. Take these according to Kapudo at the go and start investing in them for our artists, which is very, very important. So that is the new dimension of them. They are coming. And Spotify is now open to the Ghanaian market. Unlike those times, you have to change your VPN, and you have to now they are open to the over 30 million Ghanaians. I don't know how many Ghanaians are signed on now, but now they are open to everybody. But the most advantageous thing is what I'm saying. We need to now be selling content to them and be signing good contracts with them, taking upfront monies with track records that we have with them. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing, and every artist must understand this phenomenon so that we can catch into it. Because I know for a fact that the secular guys have started discussing some of these things with TuneCore and Spotify to get some of these deals. So we need to also start catching the fire and start. So grateful, Danny, for getting us on. I'm grateful. I'll leave it for Obi and Kumsi.
Thank you. Obi and Kumsi, before you come on, let me say good evening to our coach, Mr. Charles Quantin, who's the manager for Diana Hamilton, and he sent a message and said,
He's a big Tom. He's a big Tom.
I said,
Big man.
yeah, he says that in all fairness, it helps if the manager is a radio presenter. Apart from the things Obi is talking about, a radio presenter can help the artist produce music that is radio friendly. So that is his contribution to the discussion. The Obi, then Kumsi finally.
Yeah, so I think Nino has said a lot. Table of Men is not here to destroy the system. It's not here to we're not biased. I think that we're open to every good thing, every good conversation that will help the development of the gospel music industry. My final say is that we should advocate for the systems to work. The most important thing is that as we're talking about the systems, we're talking about people who are ready to also help the system, not people who are corrupt, who want to take advantage of the broken system. Gamro must work. The Copyright Office must work. Musica must work. All these institutions that help one way or the other to support gospel or Ghanaian music must work. It is very important. We must put some fire in there so that they work. Now the value of the industry must come back. The value of the industry must come back. Fourthly, every artist should understand that you are in a ministry which is in an industry. Get the right people to handle your things for you. You can't do it by yourself. Get the right people, the people with the expertise to do it for you. Don't be greedy that somebody will make some money from you, so you want to do it alone and eat all. You can't do it. Get the right people. Call on us. There's Kwesi Kumsin there, the digital Langard. There's Nino there, the artist Bluman. There's Frankie Five. There are all the guys are there.
You said Kwesi Kumsin is what?
Come again.
Kwesi Kumsin is what?
Digital Langard. Call on them. All of them are available. They are accessible. They will help you. They will talk to you. Even if they can't manage you, they will advise you. They will tell you what to do, who to go and see. Don't think you know all. I consult. Anything I do, I consult all my members. Danny, sometimes we talk. I consult people. We have conversations before I do some of these things. Sometimes the reason why I flare up is that it's like you think that we believe that we know all. No, before we bring our stuff, we talk to people to listen to it. Oh, this thing you are bringing out is not good. Change it before you bring it out. And these are the things that help us. So those of us who are even who we are there are doing consultation. How much more you are coming? Let's encourage people to understand that this thing we are doing, you need an external factor, an intelligent external factor to support you in the ministry. and we'll all be well. I pray that Ghana music will be better, the Ghana gospel music will be better, and we'll all be better, so that this our Nigerian counterparts will not keep infiltrating our market and taking everything we have, even the billboards. They take it away from us. Abba.
That's a prayer for them from Pastor Obi. Kumsi, you have the last word. You have the last words.
Interesting conversations. Thank you very much for having me on, Danny. My final words would be that while we all push for these systems to be well aligned, and now it sounds very political to use the word fix, but while we wait for these systems to be fixed, I think that artists should recognize the amount of responsibility that they have as individuals. I'm excited about Joe Metals' success, and I can speak to it directly. But one thing that people do not know, he is exceptionally hardworking, and he is an avid reader. You see, the system is changing, things are evolving, and it's good to be doing things how you know them, but when you acquire additional knowledge, looking at a local fan base, but with an international audience in mind, your approach is different. Understanding how the digital systems are evolving, understanding how you can plug in at the right places, building strong relationships, the essence of all of these, and the roles that these things play, how you dress, how you talk, how you build an image in the minds of people. Yes, there's what a manager can do for you. There's what people can advise you to do, but nothing beats what you have learned yourself and what you're applying yourself. So I think that both emerging artists, mainstream artists, let's keep reading, let's keep learning. It's very key to our growth and it's very key to our success. Aside that, I just want to repeat the point I made again, that just stay true to your core. It's not everybody that will become a big hit. It's not everybody that would make it like how everybody is making it in the context that we know. But the point is that if you meet people's needs with your music while applying all these things that we have discussed, you not have to prove your worth. Thank you again.
Wow, thank you, gentlemen. I'm extremely grateful for your time, and I'm looking forward to us having possibly another engagement sometime later. Hopefully, by the time we do that, we would have some more positive cheers or some more positive results to look back to that may have been generated out of the conversations that we have. So thank you so much. Table of Men, I'm grateful. We couldn't have a chairman on today. I'm sure he's busy somewhere, but I'm thankful for all of you time. And please keep on doing the great work, and I know that God would bless you. So have a lovely evening. God bless you, sirs.
God bless you too, boss.
Okay. All right. So that has been the Table of Men edition. God bless you, Obi. God bless you so much. Come sin and then and God bless you. That's been the Table of Men edition. God willing, next week I'm back with the mothers. So hopefully I'll be having Mama Marigansa, Mama Marigansa, Cindy Thompson, and also we'll be talking to Auntie Diana Hobson right here. We'll be having another wonderful conversation and try and look at these amazing women of God and their ministries over time and what lessons we can learn to develop ourselves and to progress to be who God wants us to be. Thank you so much. Clement Frey, I'm grateful for your time. Priscilla, Mawena, Agra, Kojon Kuma, Pastor Edwin Dadson, thank you for your time on the show today. And all of you who keep trying out. And if you're going to be watching us later on, that is going to be watching the playback, or you're watching the playback, thanks for doing so as well. Share the screen and let this benefit as many people as possible. My name is Daniel Dadson. I'm back, God willing, next week with another edition of Talk to the Daniel. But I played a video at the start of the program, and I'm going to explain this video from Mrs. Kuda, the Yama Kuda, and this the song Adonai. This was performed live at the 20th anniversary celebration of Reverend Joe. The credit to Reverend Dadson and thanks to Koda and Rama for this.
Just lift your hands and worship God. We love you, Lord. We need you, Lord. You are a faithful Father. No one else like you. We're here to love you. We're here to worship you. We're here to love you. We're here to adore you, Lord. There's no one like you. There's no one like you. Faithful Father, no one else like you. Adonai, we praise you. El Shaddai, sovereign Lord, from age to age, you remain the same. Adonai, we praise you. Adonai, we praise El Shaddai, our sovereign Lord. From age to age, you remain the same. Adonai,